2005 Chevy Silverado with a cracked radiator. Let's see how quickly we can get that new radiator installed and get this back on the road. Hey, what's up YouTube? Dan the Fix-It Man. Got another quick video here for you. This is a 2005 Chevy Silverado with a cracked radiator. Owner sent me this video. This happens to be the 5.3 liter engine, but if you'll notice down here, we have the electric fans. We don't have a fan here and the big shroud. In our case, we're just going to be pulling off this electric fan assembly rather than taking off that larger shroud. The process should be the same, so I'll do my best here to show you how easy it is to get that done. Now, the first thing I like to do is open up the coolant reservoir. Just make sure you're not doing this when the engine is hot, and that's going to help us drain out our coolant. All right, now our new radiator does have a petcock right down here, which is one way that you can drain the radiator before removing the old one. But I took a look down underneath and I do not see a drain or petcock on this existing radiator. So what I'm gonna do is pull off the lower hose. I'll get a drain pan underneath and catch any coolant that's still in here.
All right, and then we'll just try to wiggle that hose off.
All right, now we can do the top hose here. Now sometimes you can just wiggle these off, but these hooks come in pretty handy to kind of break the seal. Just kind of get it up underneath there, kind of roll it around. Now this hose here is clipped into the fan shroud. Just pull up on that. And we can just kind of lay this hose back over here. Now you see this hose right here, it comes from the intake. I'm just gonna pull it out of this little clip. And then we'll follow it back around over here. It goes into the radiator. Let me get a light there for you. This is the one that goes to our intake. Just squeeze that clamp and wiggle it back. And then if you just kind of twist and pull, we should be able to get that one off. Now this hose here just goes to our overflow. I'm just gonna use these duckbill pliers to squeeze that down. All right, now if you look at this right here, this is the top transmission line. It just has this little plastic cover. We need to pull that back so we can pull out a little metal clip. Just gonna use this little hook tool. Just pull back this little plastic cap like that. And then now you see we have a little metal clip in here. These tend to go flying. So if you're gonna use this method of I'm just hooked underneath it and I'm putting my thumb over it as I pull it off so we don't lose it. There it is. Now once you have the clip out, this will just pull straight out. Now you might drip a little bit of transmission fluid here, but just kind of tuck that over here out of the way. Now we have another one down below. Just gonna use the same pick tool to pull this plastic cover back. And we got it. There it is. All right, and then we can just do the same thing. Just pull that transmission line straight out and kind of just set it off to the side. All right, now we can take off the fan or fan assembly. This bolt here is a 13 millimeter. If you're wondering, this socket here is called Nut Grip by Koken. It holds on to nuts and bolts so you don't drop them. It's got little ball bearings that retain the fastener. Pretty cool. All right, same with this one up here. Loosen it and remove that. All right, now I'm going to disconnect the fan here from either side. Just going to push down on that tab and slide it off like that. Same with this one here. It's being a little bit of a pain. I'm going to try these hose pliers on here. There we go. All right, now both of these electrical connectors, they kind of converge on this little Y right here, and that's got a little plastic tab. I'm going to see if we can use this tool to pry that out. There we go. All right, now our fan assembly should come out. It's just sit into a little slot down there. So just pull that up carefully. All right, now we just have the two mounting bolts here that hold the radiator in place. Those are also a 13 millimeter. Same with this side here. All right, then the whole radiator should just be able to lean towards the engine. Sometimes it gets stuck on these little rubber mounts. Just gonna pry this one off like that. All right, now it's loose and we should be able to carefully lift that up and out. The little peg that goes in down below sometimes gets stuck. So just, there we go. Just kind of had to pull straight up on this one. But now it's free. Just grab a hold of it and pull it straight up and out. All right, now if you look down here, you can see our little bushing stayed on this side. Over here on this side, it came out with the radiator. So we're gonna have to take that off the old radiator and put it onto the new one. So you see here on the old radiator, this thing right here, it just got stuck. So we can pull that off. And I'm just gonna set this in place right down here. That's ready now for the new radiator. All right, now we wanna take a look and compare the new radiator to the old radiator. You can see there is a difference here. This one doesn't have any openings on the side other than the crack that you can see right there. That's a pretty bad one right there, but that's what was leaking. But we do have two little plugs right here on this side. I think this is for an additional auxiliary type of tranny cooler or engine cooler for towing, but this vehicle is not equipped with it, so we're not going to have to worry about that. You can see we also have the radiator drain or petcock on this side, even though this one from the factory did not come installed. Looks like there was a knockout there for it, but it was never installed. Now on this side, of course, we have our overflow and our top transmission connector, and then our water line that goes to the intake, and then our other transmission line down here. I took a look at this, and it's a different design. We've got a couple plugs here we need to pull out. Now that's of course different than what we have on the old radiator, but luckily this one here does come with adapters. This is the one that we're going to use, and it looks like they've already got some sort of a sealant on the threads, and this is ready to go. This also already has the clip installed. Don't take that off. We're going to be able to push the old lines into this new fitting, and that clip will lock it in place. You know, I was saying we needed to be really careful not to lose those clips. In this case, it came with new clips with the new radiator or with these new adapters. So I'm going to go ahead and get these installed. Now I thought this was going to be a 19 millimeter, and that's what I ended up grabbing. Let me just grab this socket set here real quick and I'll show you. So here's 19. You can see that that's pretty loose. Well, it doesn't fit in the 18. So I thought, okay, it's standard. So I've got some standard sockets right here. Here's 3/4. I don't know if you can see that, but that's loose. And then here's 11/16. And it doesn't fit in there. It's definitely loose for a 19, even though that will work. You know, it might round off the edges there, and maybe that's just because they don't want you to torque this down so tight that that you're going to crack that. I do happen to have something that's really unique. Let me show you. I have these from Astro. Now, I did a quick little review on these tools, and I really honestly thought I would never even need them, but they're half sizes, half size metric. So I bet that the 18.5 is going to fit here. And look at that. It does. And that's very snug. So that's what I'm going to use. Now, I'm still not going to overdo this, but that is just so cool. I said, yeah, you know, I'd rather have it and not need it versus need it and not have it. And of course, I could get this done and put these in with a crescent wrench or something, but I just thought that was pretty cool. There is an application for this. This definitely is not 19, and it's not 18, and it's not the 3/4 or 11/16. So I'm going to use the 18.5, get these adapters installed in the new radiator, and then put that in the vehicle and wrap this up. Now, they do give a warning on this radiator that crossing the threads is not covered under warranty. They just don't want you to mess these up. You know, some vehicles probably have the tranny lines that you have to thread in, and a lot of times they do get cross-threaded. So take your time here, just get those started. I had grabbed the crescent wrench thinking that that's what I would do, because that would work, but I just thought a little bit quicker, a little bit easier. Just don't use any power tools or anything like that. Just get these snug. That should do it. I'm just going to grab a screwdriver, take this clamp and this plug off on this side so that we can hook that up to the one that goes to the throttle body. New radiator does come with these bushings. Sometimes they don't, and you need to pry these out. In our case, it comes with it already installed. So this is ready to go back in. All right, so just be careful when you bring this down. Try not to bang up any of those nice cooling fins. And there it is. Let's just get these started. Now I'm not going too crazy on that. I don't want to completely squish that bushing, but you know, you can see it's starting to bulge out. That should be good right there. And same with this side. Just get that in there and get it started. Now with the fan out of the way, it's a little bit easier to do the lower hose. So I'm going to do that before I put that back in. Just make sure you push it all the way on. Now I'm going to go down underneath because it's going to be easier to get to this clamp from below. These hose clamps are sometimes a pain. Just be patient. See if you can just wiggle it on as far as it was before. There we go. Now I'm also going to put in the lower transmission line before I put in the fans. And all we need to do is just line that up, just nice and straight, and push it in until you hear that little clip click over the little bump on there. Just like that. And then we can push down the plastic cover, and that's good to go. All right, now we're going to put the cooling fan assembly back in. You see this little tab right here? Now that tab goes right into this little slot on either side of the radiator. You see the bottom of the fan also has this notch on either side, and so we'll just try to line those up as well. All right, and then we can put the fan assembly back in. Okay, we got that side, and now this side. All right. See, we're sitting right on that little ledge, so that's locked in place. Same with this side. We are locked in place where we need to be. So now we can put those bolts back in that hold this electric fan in place. Now I know this is easier with an electric ratchet, but sometimes I just like the feel of a regular ratchet. And just get that snug. Same with this side here. And we'll just zip that on real quick. All right, and then this harness for the fans, I'm just going to push that right back in. And then we can reconnect these electrical connectors here to the motors. Just push that on until you hear it click. Same with this side, just line it up and slide that on. All right, back over here on the side. So I'm going to push this one on here. I just like to make sure it's fully seated. There we go. That looks good. All right, then we can grab the next transmission line, or the upper one, and same thing, just kind of push that straight in until you hear that little wire clip around that little ridge. Just like that. Give it a little tug, make sure it's seated in there, and then we can push down the plastic cover. Just push it till it snaps over it. Like so. That's good. All right, then we can grab our upper radiator hose, and we'll just push that till it's all the way on, and then we'll get the pliers and pull this on. But also wanted to show you right here, remember we have this little plastic snap. Push that in, and then this one here holds onto this hose. Kind of like that. Holds onto both of them. Just gonna squeeze that and just try to wiggle that on to where it's kind of in the same place where it was. The same indentations on the hose. That feels good. Now we still have our overflow hose to do. We'll just press that one on, fully seated. Okay, that one's on and nice and snug. All right, and then I'm just gonna throw a funnel in here. I've got this one here with the adapter. It's really nice for bleeding cooling systems. Just pop that in, and you can see it has a little center plug that you can pull out. All right, now we've got our funnel all set up and ready to fill that up. But I also wanted to mention real quick, now our transmission fluid is something you also might want to check after doing this. The amount that you lose is pretty minimal, but you do lose a little bit. It's just such a small amount. A lot of people just kind of brush over that and don't even bother. Up to you, I guess, but it's probably not a bad idea to double check that transmission fluid once you get it up and running up to temperature to make sure that that's at the appropriate level too. Let's go ahead and get this filled up, and then we'll check for leaks and should be able to wrap this up. Today we're going to use this press stone here. It says it's guaranteed for GM vehicles, and this is also pre-mixed. It says don't add water, so we'll just pour this on in. Now I didn't mention it, but you're going to want to make sure that that petcock is completely closed, nice and tight. Now if you get a lot of splashing from the bubbling, you can also throw the lid on there for a second. Let that gurgle down. Now I don't see any leaks right off the bat, but it's a good idea to at least get down and take a look before you add the second jug. Jug number 2. All right, I'm just setting the lid on here so it doesn't splash, and I'm just going to squeeze the radiator hoses. Sometimes that will help squeeze out some of those bubbles. All right, well, that's still nice and full. I'm sure we need more than that, but let's go ahead and start it up so that that can start to draw that in through the overflow and pull that into the radiator. Looks like it drained that out, so let's go ahead and top it off again. Just takes a minute sometimes. See how thirsty it is. Looks like we're almost empty, so I'm going to open up our third jug here. Now the other nice thing about this funnel is if I overfill it, I can put that plug in and then just put that coolant that's in there right back into this jug if we don't end up using it all. Okay, well, let's go start it up again. Let it run for a minute. I'm going to turn on the air conditioning and the heater, kind of alternate between the two, and see how much more of that coolant we can pull into that engine. All right, we've got no leaks, nothing dripping down there. All right, so I've got the air conditioning on full blast right now. Check engine light went off, probably was on for a coolant sensor, but now that's off. Now let's go ahead and turn on the heater and see if we can draw some of that coolant into that heater core as well, just to make sure that we're fully topped off and get all those air bubbles out of there. 322,709 miles. Wow, that's impressive. Now we've got the AC going full blast, you know, heat up the engine, but also make sure that we're getting that thermostat to open. And it looks like we're not quite up to operating temperature yet, but it's getting there. We're just gonna squeeze this upper radiator hose a couple more times, see if I can get any more air out of that. And then we'll go ahead and plug this funnel, lift this off, just set it right up onto our jug, pull out that plug. It will put all of that nice new coolant right back into this jug so it can still be used. Those are nice funnels, definitely works really well for that. And I'll give the owner the rest of this coolant so he can double check and top that off as needed. Let's take this off. And we'll put our overflow cap back on. And we're done. This is ready to get back on the road. We already checked it, no leaks or anything like that. Again, you might want to double check your transmission fluid after you warm that up, pull it out and make sure that that's at the appropriate level as well. Again, this is a little bit of a universal model with those additional adapters and these two additional ports down here on this side. But it looks like it's going to work out great for us. Owner will be happy to get this back on the road. I hope you liked the video. Please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you don't mind. That does help me out. I'll get a link in the description where you can pick up a replacement radiator for your truck along with some of the other parts and tools used in the video as well. Thanks so much for watching and good luck.